Hey guys, Coach 2K back with another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about the fictional roster that I'm going to use for NBA 2K18. If you're new to the channel, be sure and click that subscribe button and click the bell while you're at it to get notified whenever I put up an NBA 2K video so you don't miss any. And also hit that like button if you like the video because that kind of helps the channel out. So in this video I was going to talk about my plan for this upcoming season as far as the fictional roster is concerned. And if you were watching my videos at the end of last year, you'll know that I found some fictional rosters, particularly Tim's fictional roster from 2K16 that I really liked really well. And so that kind of got me interested in using one. And Tim didn't make one for 17, although he's working one on for 18. And I really liked his work in 16. But I think it's going to take some time before the roster's ready. And so when it comes down to it, I mean, you could literally work on a roster all year long, and then by the time you get done, it's time for the next game to come out, and then you never play. So what I decided to do instead, after looking at the creative player options, and the thing about the creative player option, it's really cool because you can create all these unique players, but they're all the same age approximately. They don't have any signature skills. They tend to look a lot alike if you create a bunch of them, and they all have the same signature skills. So the amount of time to go in and actually modify all of those players, would take quite a bit of time. Now the draft classes are nice because they all kind of have some uniqueness to them, and that makes them a little bit easier to deal with, even though they're all about the same age. They do have specific badges kind of already and specific signature skills. So, I like the draft class creator better. What would be really nice is if NBA 2K would allow you to push a button and create a whole fictional league, but they don't do that. So what I did instead was I decided to sim ahead from the regular. I took the official roster, set up a MyLeague, and I simmed ahead 20 seasons. And that was the point where everybody either retired or was out of the league from 2K17, and now every single player in the league is a fictional player. And now, you can see here, this is John Lyons. I've got Franklin Turner, Herbert Paxson, Darren Bennett, Glenn Lyles, Sasha Drawbacks, I'm not sure how to say his name yet, Tyron Bell, Quinn Olson, Willie Welsh, Ronaldo Viana, and Wilson Yates, Hal Clemens, Howie Singletary, and Dante Nelson. So you can see that all these guys, they look different enough. They've also got, accessories that vary, and more importantly, they all have their own signature skills. So they all shoot different, and they even have some sort of history. So from statistics to awards and so on. In addition to that, they all have contracts now. Whether they're valid or not, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I ended up deciding to do. Now the downside to this roster is that you can't export the roster. So if I wanted to share the roster with anybody, I'm in a situation where I have to recreate John Lyons, which all the stuff to create John Lyons isn't in the file, here, where I could go in and exactly duplicate him outside the file. So as much as I wanted to go in and kind of create this roster for everybody to use, I'm not going to be able to probably do that unless they change some things. So anyway, I'm excited to start the season. I've already played a couple games, and I'm trying to figure out, if I like it well enough to move forward, and I finally decided that I did. What's nice about, also having all these fictional players is that, it's kind of nice. The Pacers have won a couple championships during that time, the last one in 2037, which is the last season that I simmed. The only thing that I thought about doing outside of this, all these fictional players, was to also create, fictional arenas and uniforms. And that's something I still might do, but I think just to kind of get playing and get some highlights up here, I think what I'd like to do is just stick with probably each of the NBA teams. A couple things I learned when I was simming these seasons is that the European players duplicate if you stash them for however that process works. What I opted to do rather than delete those players is just make them brothers with different names, or in a couple cases I just made them a different name entirely. But I kept I tried to give them a name that was similar to one from the country that they were from. And the other issue that I feel like that I had is that the training of these players, when I got down to this far, there are lots of great shooters. As far as from open three, there's lots of 3-point shooters, but contested threes weren't that high. And in the games I haven't really that I've played, I haven't really noticed that like I'm getting torched, even though the ratings seem a little bit higher. So that may change over time. I don't know. I don't know if the contracts are set up right, and we may get into some of these things, as we kind of go through each of the teams. But those were the two main issues that I had when I was kind of creating, simming the seasons. Now I did decide that I would turn rules off, rules changes, so that everything would be consistent going all the way to 2037 when I did that. And I also I tested expansion, but expansion never expanded during the times that I simmed with that turned on. So there weren't any expansion teams when I simmed ahead that far. So that's about all I can think of as far as kind of simming. Oh, one last thing that I do remember is, as far as the draft classes go, I just use the auto-generate draft classes that came up every year. I didn't bother modifying them, and I just kind of wanted to see what would happen at the end of the day when everybody was just automatically generated and put in there. So in the next video, I'll put up some gameplay so you can kind of see how I'm doing. The game is new, so I'm not very good yet, so I'll probably start out the season kind of slow. So hopefully I'll win some games in my MyLeague. But if you got any questions about what I did here, and what you think about how this might turn out, or if you got any suggestions on how I might modify things as I go along, I certainly want to hear them so I can kind of make this the best experience that I can. So I'm Coach 2K. Get a chance to play sometime. I'll see you on the court.